So, yep, it's part 2 of the weekly Q&A. You haven't watched part 1 yet. Why not? Probably got a life. Probably trying to do stuff. Well, cut that crap out! When I upload, you click watch and you watch it, damn it! That's what you do. Who needs a life? It's almost football season. Come on, people! Anyways, time for part 2. Let's go ahead and get started. Slim Gator. Why does Matt Ryan get the overrated label so much? It's an interesting question. I think some of it is because he's got Julio. So there's already the perception of how bad can you be when you have Julio. But then you look at Andy Dalton and why isn't he better? And he's got A.J. Green, who is pretty close to that level of receiver him damn self. I don't know with Matt Ryan. I wonder if some of it sometimes is because he replaced Michael Vick and he's not Michael Vick, so some fans are never going to give him credit no matter what he does. I think some of it's going to be, how the hell are you a franchise quarterback or borderline elite guy and you take your team to the Super Bowl, you're up 28-3 halfway through the third quarter and you freaking piss the game down your legs? And fair question to ask. But to me, there's no question Matt Ryan's a franchise quarterback. There's no question to me he's a top 10 guy in the league. I don't know if I would go like top 5 or 6, no, but he's probably somewhere comfortably in the 7 to 10 range. I think in some ways he's a little underrated, a little underappreciated. But it's not like he's been a stud the entire time. He's had some good years and he's had some bad years. But I get why people throw the overrated label on him a little bit. I think it could be both. I think sometimes he can be a little overrated and a little underrated and underappreciated. Alec Chen asks, would you ever consider making an NFL podcast? Because I'd like to hear you talk about these things in greater detail. Sure, I would consider it. I don't know that my life right now and the sparse amounts of free time that I actually do have would be all that cooperative to it. Then there's a lot of technical things I'd have to figure out. And the fact is the Schleg Daddy knows about a shirt and tie. He's not very good when it comes to digital and technological type of things. Also, to me, I would rather do something like that with somebody else, and getting schedules to align with other people can be challenging, tough. I don't have any friends out here, so I can't just lean on somebody out here to do it. But I would consider it, yeah. I don't know that it's going to happen anytime soon, so don't get your hopes up, unfortunately. Matt Holtman, are you coming to a Bears game this year? Probably not. Just like every other year, pretty much. I have to work too much, have too little free time, and a trip to a game, whether it's Soldier Field or somewhere else in the U.S., is probably going to be too costly for me and too inconvenient for me. And that's just the way it is. Life sucks, and then you die sometimes. Well, you always die at some point. And life can sometimes suck. That is a given. Would love to, but not counting on it. Danny Common. Will Khalil Mack get paid? More important question, will Khalil Mack get paid? It's going to happen. It may not happen now. It may not happen soon. But it will happen. It may not be the Raiders. It may be somebody else. But he's going to get paid. Somebody will pay him big, as he should be paid big, as he deserves to be paid big. It's ridiculous that he hasn't been already. Harrison asks the next question. This is really appropriate considering the previous question. Why are the Raiders so willing to pay $100 million to John Gruden, but not to Khalil Mack? God damn it all, isn't that a great freaking question? Like, Gruden's been away from the game as a coach for almost a decade, and you're willing to give him $100 million total, guaranteed. Granted, over 10 years, but still, guaranteed, every dollar of it. But Khalil Mack, who has proven himself to be nothing but a stud and everything you expect out of a top 5 pick his first 4 years in the league, you can't figure out a way to pay that man? And I understand the Raiders are a bit of a cash-strapped organization as it is, but I don't get it. I just don't get it. I'm with you all the way. Braden, how many AFC North head coaches do you think will be fired either this year or after this year? When you look at that division, Mike Tomlin, if they don't make the Super Bowl this year, it's really hard to justify how he can stay anymore. Should have already been gone. But If they make it to a Super Bowl this year, then he can stay. To me, for the Steelers, as much as any other team, for the coach and so forth, and the construction of a team, it's Super Bowl or bust. But the Steelers as an organization are incredibly loyal to their coaches, so you'd be fighting an uphill battle if you're expecting him to get fired if they don't make it to the Super Bowl. As far as the Ravens, John Harbaugh, I don't see him going anywhere. The Bengals and Marvin Lewis, again, logic would dictate why the fuck does he still have a job, but that's exactly what we're talking about here with Mike Brown, so I'd be surprised if he was fired, especially because didn't he just get 2 years? Which brings you to Hugh Jackson. If Cleveland wins 7 or 8 games and shows a lot of growth and progress, and maybe they're knocking around in the playoff race at some point, it might be really hard to fire Hugh Jackson, even if you're John Dorsey and you want to because you want to bring in your own guy. So I could see a scenario where 2, if not 3 coaches get fired in that division. I could see a scenario where absolutely all of them are back another year. So I don't know at this point. Ben Scott, will the Bears make the playoffs in 2018? It's an awfully big ask. The NFC is loaded. The Bears division is pretty good. I think they make progress. I think they make growth and improvement, and who knows what could happen. But I feel like they're a year away from the playoffs, personally. But they could get there. But need to see quite a bit of improvement in 1 year. And maybe they will, and I hope they do. But to me, it's more important to get the defense to play at a top-flight level, and for, more importantly of all, Trubisky to show that he could be that dude. That's the only thing that matters this year. SAFC Bungles. Should a team try and trade for Teddy Bridgewater? Yes, especially if they're looking for a guy that could potentially start for them at some point in time this year because they lack confidence and faith in their starting quarterback. Or B, if they're lacking faith and confidence that their starting quarterback can stay upright and healthy all year, then yeah, Teddy Bridgewater has some appeal, especially on a small 1-year contract. Probably wouldn't have to give up a super ton to get him, but then you wonder if there really is going to be a trade market and if they wouldn't just be able to wait for him to be released by the Jets potentially and then get him in the open market. I don't know. Intense Snipes. Do you think Josh Allen is ready to be a full-time starter? Well, since you could call me a Josh Allen stan, I say yes. Yes, he is. Is he going to have bumps? Absolutely. Is he going to have games he absolutely sucks? Probably. Is he also going to do things that make you go, oh my God? Yes. I think he's a guy whose best football is ahead of him, and he'll be better in the pros than he was in college. And at this point in time, I don't see where him sitting behind Nathan Peterman is going to do him a whole lot of good. You took him in the top 10, you traded up for him, fucking play him and find out what you got. Sitting young quarterbacks is stupid, and recent history has proven if you take them high and they're that dude, play them right away, the good and the benefit will come to you almost immediately. So, play them, find out what you got. Chris Joseph, which NFL teams are least built for the future? The New England Patriots, because as soon as Brady goes, then what the hell do you have? I mean, and that's okay because they're clearly in win-now mode, as they should be. So as soon as Brady's gone and or Belichick's gone, what the hell do they have? A future in the top 5 of the draft, most likely. Who else would be least built for the future? Maybe the Arizona Cardinals would be another team. Just not like long-term future. What is it really? Who else? Long-term future. I'm thinking. Please forgive me. That's a really good question. Least built. Maybe the Miami Dolphins, because what the hell do they have going on in their future? There would maybe be another team that I could think of off the top of my head. Yeah. JT Evans, which NFL teams do you think have the most underrated defenses? I think the Bears' defense is a little bit underrated. I think coming up this year, the Browns' defense is going to be slept on and underrated a little bit. Those are the first 2 I could think of. Dave G. If Anthony Miller lives up to the hype, Allen Robinson stays healthy, and Kevin White can finally stay healthy and play an entire season, could the Bears have a top 3 wide receiver group? You can throw Taylor Gabriel in there. Man, let's not put the cart before the horse too much, especially with Kevin White. Allen Robinson, yeah, he tore his ACL, but plenty of guys come back from a torn ACL and they play just fine the next year. If Anthony Miller lives up to the hype, he's going to. He's going to. Wide receiver 1. Again, listen to me. Anthony Miller is going to live up to the hype. Wide receiver 1. Anthony Miller is going to live up to the hype. Wide receiver 1. Do I need to say it again? No. Yes. Anthony Miller, wide receiver 1. Harrison asked. Excuse me, I already answered your question. I did it out of order. Junior, can the Jaguars' elite defense carry them to a Super Bowl? It almost did last year. With that defense combined with Fournette in the running game, I mean, if they didn't play so scared in the fourth quarter and Bortles could have made a couple of plays, it would have been there. I mean, they were up double digits in the fourth quarter in Foxborough against Brady Belichick and the Patriots. If that didn't show that they could get to that point, then I don't know what will. They absolutely can. I'm not saying they will, but they absolutely can. Spencer Carpet, which rookie has impressed you most thus far? I'll stay biased, and I will say Anthony Miller. No, the reality is I haven't been able to watch a ton of preseason football, sadly. So I haven't been able to check out a ton of the rookies yet and see how they're faring or not faring or so forth. Hopefully over the next week or two, I'll be able to get caught up more in the preseason, and as a result, I'll have a better opinion then. And Josh Grantham closes us out by asking, how many sacks for Harold Landry this year? I think the over-under on sacks for him this year is probably 6.5 to 7, and I might go slightly over. I might go like 7.5, which would be a good, solid rookie year for him. Now, is he just going to be a starter, or is he going to be a situational guy? Guess that remains to be seen. How he's utilized, how he's featured by Vrabel in that Titans defense. I don't know if I go so far as to say he's going to be a double-digit sack guy, because he needs to show he can stay healthy. I need to see more consistently the burst and edge that he showed at times in 2016 that he didn't show last year in college. But I think right now, to me, the over-under on sacks for him this year is somewhere between 6.5 and 7. And for edge rushers as rookies, that's not a bad number. That's not a bad number at all. So thanks to all you guys that submitted your questions for the weekly Q&A. I'll continue to do them each week because I love getting your questions and love getting you the answers, and I hope you enjoy it too. Make sure you tell your friends. Watch me. Most underrated sports talker on YouTube. Now with shirt and tie.